very hard thing to do business like this.
Again,
I tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of
accept that they're accept
to
that,
American people.
accept
This. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong.
Your country is in big trouble. No, you've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Whoa, did you guys see what happened today between US President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy? Wow, it made for great TV. My goodness. It is the kind of diplomacy that I personally have never seen in any of these meetings. You know, these leaders get together, they're there in the Oval Office, or they're standing at podiums at different countries, and you know, they talk lightly about what they talked about. Everything was pleasant. This is what we discussed. But today, you saw Zelenskyy in a form where he just, it seemed like he didn't care. It seemed like basically this war has gone on long enough, and he didn't like the way that President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance were talking about what was happening in Ukraine. Volodymyr Zelenskyy was there at the Oval Office because he's there to sign a deal, some sort of deal, where he's going to sign over mineral rights, handing over mineral rights to the states. I guess Trump has said this is what he wants in order to pay back, in order for Ukraine to pay back some of the money that they've given, $350 billion that the Biden government gave. So Zelenskyy is there to sign over the deal. We all know very well that Trump does not like Zelenskyy. He has called Zelenskyy a dictator. He has accused Zelenskyy of starting this war, which is unbelievable in my mind. Let me just start by telling you guys what I believe. And I am not a geopolitical expert at all. This is just my own opinion. Because I hear excuses that Vladimir Putin had, the reason why he invaded Ukraine was because NATO was almost gonna, Ukraine had made an application to join NATO, and that meant that the alliance was going to be right on Putin's doorstep. I mean, isn't Finland right on Putin's doorstep? And he didn't invade at that time. But anyway, Ukraine was a no-go zone, and so Putin had every right to invade Ukraine because NATO had made a treaty that they would not have countries that border Russia join NATO, and they're breaking the treaty. And they say if Russia was going to, put arms or whatever in Mexico, do you think the states will stand for it? And they're right. No, the states wouldn't stand for it. But even if that's the case, you have no right to invade a country just because you feel that they're going to join NATO. Russia invaded Ukraine. They have no right. They're in the wrong. That's my opinion. That's my view. So I could be wrong. Like I said, not a pro. But I just don't think that Russia had any right to invade Ukraine for any reason whatsoever. They started this war, not Vladimir Zelenskyy. So anyway, what I want to do today, hello, welcome to UnPontificated. And yeah, please like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. And what I'd like to do is let's take a look at this exchange. And I'll comment as we go along.
What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, you know, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. All right, one more question.
Hey, I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now the President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2015.
2014?
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire.
This is the ceasefire that Zelenskyy was talking about. You can see there, here's Macron and Merkel. Excuse me, and a very young-looking Zelenskyy. My goodness. So this is it's December 10, 2019. They agreed to implement a ceasefire. And let's see. Met face-to-face at a Paris summit on Monday. Mr. Zelenskyy was downbeat, saying little had been achieved at the meeting, and he wanted to see more resolved. 5.5 years of fighting between Ukrainian forces and Russian-backed rebels have cost 13,000 lives. Wow. So this is like 2014 when Russia annexed Crimea, and there's still been fighting going on like in 2019. We like to talk about the invasion of Ukraine in 2022, but the Ukrainian forces and Russian forces have been fighting since 2014. So it's going to come up on 11 years. The two sides also pledged to disengage military forces in 3 additional regions of Ukraine by the end of March 2020, without specifying which regions would be affected. I think probably the east of Ukraine there, Russian-speaking regions. Anyway, so this is what Zelensky's been talking about.
He will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media.
This is where I have a problem with JD and the way he subtly switched. He's the one who started talking about issues with Ukraine. And when Zelensky starts to defend himself, then he starts accusing Zelensky of coming here to litigate issues here in front of the American media. Well, you started it, JD. What do you want? What do you want Zelensky to do there? To just sit back and take it? Wants you to slap him? Please, sir, can I have some more? You know, it's kind of arrogant. I think a little bit arrogant of JD there to stand up there, and then as this continues, they don't even let Zelensky talk.
You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count one.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know.
Yeah, he has not been to Ukraine. Why don't you just say, no, I haven't, JD? Okay, you've watched stories. Yeah, you haven't seen anything.
What happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
Again, this is rich of JD. What, you think you didn't have problems yourself there, JD, in Vietnam? You guys had conscription as well. You know, it's not easy when wars go on longer than you think they're gonna go. Then you need to, you know, have drafts. The U.S. had drafts, right, for Vietnam. And for I don't know if they had it for World War II. I don't know. I don't remember. But certainly for Vietnam, there's draft. I mean, your own President Clinton dodged the draft. A few other people dodged the draft. Come on. This is just ridiculous. Rich.
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
you're doing.
I'm not
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very
You will
good.
feel influenced.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the
cards.
cards right now. With us, you start having
not
cards.
playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
I'm very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing cards.
Like that. I'm not playing cards. Guys, this scene is not good for the world. It's not good for the world to see. I know, yes, I am here making commentary. A lot of people are making commentaries on this scene, but it doesn't give the world a good sense of you know, that we're going to come to peace. Certainly not in Ukraine, Russia. It's actually not good for those people who worry about these things. You know, like what's going to happen next? Here in Canada, now we're concerned. Like, what is Trump? He's pissed at Zelensky. He says there's going to be tariffs that he's going to unleash on Canada March 1st. And is he? Maybe he wasn't going to, but now he's pissed, so he's going to take it out on other countries. So it's not good.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III.
This is what I was talking about. Trump's hyperbolic language. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. World War III gambling.
And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country, that's backed you far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once this entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you? You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please.
JD is already in campaign mode for 2028. I think, I know, well, I shouldn't say I know, but there have been reports that they're trying to get Trump a third term in 2028. They're looking at the Constitution of the U.S. to see if there's a chance that he could get a third term. But if not, here's JD making his voice known. He's already spoken more than I ever heard Mike Pence speak. All right, JD's out there doing his thing.
I think that if you will speak very loudly about the war,
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn
We-
good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
allowed.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
allowed.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about West
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course he has.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I tell you.
You know, this is the kind of arrogance that just, it's actually kind of shocking from the U.S. And this is why they lost the war in Vietnam. You know, that they could go in there and get those villagers who are just, you know, throwing stones and using slingshots, and they didn't take into account the terrain and all those other kind of stuff, the weather. But yeah, so the war went on long. They probably thought they can go in there and win that war in 3 days. 5 years later, it's still going on. Yeah. You can't underestimate the fight in people who are fighting for their country. And that's another thing here in Canada as well. Like Trump thinks he can annex Canada, 51, or they got a weak military that, Canada needs the US to fight its battles. Well, bring it. You can't underestimate the fight of a people who are defending their country. You just can't. Anyway, it's US. This is just a display, a total display of arrogance.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of times thank you to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on over there. I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running low
I know.
on soldiers. Listen, you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go, and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
Doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what
That wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was with
wasn't with
a
you.
guy named Biden, who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your-
that
this
was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins.
Here's the kind of account here of the javelins that Trump gave to Ukraine. This was the Trump administration first approved the sale of javelins to Ukraine in 2017. So this was in Trump's first term. Okay, when the battle has been going on since 2014. So yes, the Trump administration has approved the $39 million sale of defensive lethal weapons to Ukraine. The U.S. Armed Forces to blah, 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 blah. The new package will include Javelin anti-tank weapons, with one official U.S. saying it includes 150 missiles and 2 launchers, which was first reported by Bloomberg News. So this is in 2017. We're not talking about now in 2020, 24, 25. And when we're talking about sheets, during a heated Oval exchange, Trump mocked Obama's Ukraine aid, saying he gave sheets. He referred to Obama's $600 million in non-lethal assistance, especially blankets, but included vehicles, night vision goggles, body armor, and training. Trump contrasted this with his administration's approval of lethal military aid to Ukraine. So Obama's was mainly non-lethal assistance, blankets, sheets, and Trump's was lethal, javelins, $39 million javelins, and he didn't give them. Okay, he sold them. They were bought. So it's not like it was a gift. It was a sale. And back in 2017.
You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards. What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden, because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia, the 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television.
Well, there you have it. I don't know what you guys think, but I think it's an atrocious display of, first of all, diplomacy or non-diplomacy on both parts. I think Zelenskyy and Trump did the world a disservice there by showing that that's certainly that display in the Oval Office. But I can understand Zelensky's point of view when he's got soldiers there. I bet the soldiers in Ukraine are clapping. He's given them some morale, a morale boost, because he stood up to Donald Trump and J.D. Vance there in the Oval Office. He refused to kowtow to those guys. And those guys, they do have the cards. I mean, America's a strong country. America has helped Ukraine survive as much as possible, as much as they have. But this notion that Zelenskyy hasn't been thankful, he has been. He was there in the House of Commons there in the U.S. and back when the war first started there in 22. When he was doing his rounds, trying to get countries to help out. He was there, and he has always been thankful. But I think he got his back up because he felt that he wasn't being appreciated. He was being spoken down to. I think that's how he felt. And when you've been in a war for as long as that country has, almost coming up on 11 years since 2014 anyway, invaded in 22, nerves are frayed. Nerves are frayed. And anyway, it's too bad that we had to see that. But now, Trump did send out this tweet on Truth Social. Trump. We had a very meaningful meeting in the White House today. Much was learned that could never be understood without conversation under such fire and pressure. It's amazing what comes out through emotion, and I have determined that President Zelenskyy is not ready for peace if America is involved, because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. I don't want advantage, I want peace. He disrespected the United States of America in its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he is ready for peace. And then Zelenskyy replies, thank you, America. Thank you for your support. Thank you for this visit. Thank you, POTUS, Congress, and the American people. Ukraine needs just and lasting peace, and we are working exactly for that. So I guess cooler has prevailed. Vladimir Zelenskyy had a chance to cool down, and I hope that he and Donald Trump can reconcile. Donald Trump does have a very thin skin. He gets offended easily. He also has a thick skin in that the guy can say and do whatever he wants. And nothing seems to faze him. I don't know. But he does get offended pretty easily. So I don't know if right now he's sulking, and we'll see what happens. But on Canada's standpoint, I hope this doesn't, get him, really grumpy, where he's going to take out his anger on other countries that he wants to. Watch out, Greenland. Guys, please like and subscribe. Let me know what you think. And it was good TV. We'll see you next time.